Welcome back to Area DMG. This is a sharp cinema review, and I'm your host, Phil Wesley, the Mile High Mouth. And, well, we're going to go ahead and review Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers, which is a movie. Yeah. And the background video game footage is from Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers 2 on the NES as part of the Disney Afternoon Collection from the PS4, played on a PS5. And yeah, that really needs to come to Nintendo Switch. I'm just going to say. Anyways, Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers is a movie that was made for TikTok audiences and for people who like to pause the movie to tell you what you're watching. You know those people. Also for people who passively watched one or two episodes of Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers on Disney Plus but weren't paying much attention to it, which to me probably seems like that's what happened with this film. You have a lot of people that worked on this that probably were in the middle of other things when the show was on. Yeah. Anyways, this is for people who've also passively watched one or two episodes of Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers on Disney Plus, which is also where I watched this. The movie revolves around Chip and Dale playing themselves after their show Rescue Rangers was canceled and they had a small falling out. Chip is voiced by John Mulaney from SNL and other stuff. Dale is voiced by Andy Samberg from SNL and Lonely Island and other stuff. Director worked on a lot of SNL, and the writers are from How I Met Your Mother and SNL. Also in this movie are Eric Bana, Seth Rogen, a bunch of other SNL people, Will Arnett, J.K. Simmons, and then they got like two voice actors back from the original show, Trez MacNeille as Gadget, and Corey Burton as the high-pitched voice for Dale. Although Dale, throughout the whole thing, has John Mulaney just kind of reading whatever for a paycheck. The basic plot of the movie involves a mob boss called Sweet Pete who gets cartoon characters involved in debt and then kidnaps them to alter their appearances to make them non-copyright infringing so he can make knockoff movies for the Walmart crowd. Monty's love of stinky cheese, Monty from the TV show, Monterey Jack, it's a type of cheese. That joke is actually in the movie. If you didn't laugh here, you won't laugh there. Anyways, his love of stinky cheese gets him into debt, and Chip and Dale eventually work with diversity hire cop Ellie, played forgettably by Kiki Lane, who's been in much better movies like If Beale Street Could Talk, to find him. They solve the mystery, reconcile their falling out, and get the gang back together at the end of the movie. Ooh. Poor Kiki Lane. It's like seeing Christopher Lloyd and Charlie Sheen in Food Fight. You look at that and you're like, why are you here? Do you need help? I mean, blink 3 times if you're being forced into this against your will, okay? Please, let us know. That said, the idea of washed-up, drug-addled cartoon characters being made to act in knockoff Little Panda Fighter-style movies is pretty funny. The fan convention that Dale has a booth in is also pretty funny. He's like the washed-up voice actor or random Power Ranger that wants you to buy their autographed headshots for $30 so they can afford a tiny bump of cocaine. Please, think of Austin St. John or Johnny Young Bosch. They need you to pay for their drug habits. Wait. I'm not implying anything about them or voice actors in general. Let's pretend that they're all great people and there's never anything wrong with that industry. The voice actor industry, perfectly fine. Saban? Yep, absolutely. Nothing bad ever happens with Power Ranger actors. Ever. So, is the movie any good? No, it's not. It has very little to do with the show, and about 90% of the jokes don't land. It does have a lot of stuff happening on in the background, though. I mean, you see, this is a crowd shot movie. This is a YouTube content movie. These are movies where the main draw of them is the cameos and background business. Think Ready Player One or Space Jam 2, the Lego Movie, Ralph Bakes the Internet, or an Avengers film tied to the multiverse. They want this to be a detective film like Who Framed Roger Rabbit so very much, but it's kind of not. There's cameos from other stuff, including Roger Rabbit, and like Tigra, that particular Avenger, and the ugly version of Sonic from the old Sonic the movie trailer before the CGI was redone. But this isn't Roger Rabbit. It feels like it's trying to remind me of better movies, Like throughout it, you're like, oh, hey, look, characters from South Park. Oh, look, that's a Transformer. Oh, look, there's things from better movies. Anyways, let's break this down, actually. I like to break these down into like first shot in the first 15 to 20 minutes of a movie. The first shot of Who Framed Roger Rabbit, if we're going to compare these two, is an old school cartoon splash of Baby Hermit and Roger Rabbit. Within the first 20 minutes, the world is set up, all the characters are introduced, and you even get underpins for things that will pay off later. The first shot of Chip 'n Dale's Rescue Rangers is a blue sky and the number 1982 to indicate the year, followed by some very terrible narration and attempts at, oh, LOL, so random humor. In fact, there are a few things, the Chip 'n Dale meeting each other in school, a time skip, then another time skip. Within the first 15 minutes, there's small things that will pay off a little bit later, little tiny hints at the plot, and a few character moments generally set up, like, just there. I mean, it's done okay, it's just not acted well. In fact, like, the narration for it, oof. So, the narration for it is really bad. It actually makes me think a little bit of if you've watched the theatrical Blade Runner and then you watch the final cut and you realize, oh, they took out that narration from the beginning because you didn't need it. In fact, with a lot of this, the acting is just kind of there. It feels like this is a made-for-TV movie that plays too safe. It's too referential for other things. It had way too many notes. There's way too much over-explaining in it. The story feels like it has no stakes. The villain has a weird little tragic backstory that references an actual tragedy that happened to the voice actor of that particular character in a way that seems a bit tasteless. I mean, I would say it'd be like if somebody in these had like a billboard for Ducky Brand Family Ammo or Kobe Bryant helicopter rides. I mean, if you don't know, you won't care, but if you do know, you'll roll your eyes and say, so edgy, I guess. Part of this movie feels cynical and put together by childless Redditors, which brainstormed about things they like while pretending the cats are a replacement for the hole in their heart left by their lack of purpose, children, or actual right life direction because of their incessant narcissism. A lot of the background characters are just vague references to other things in a way that seems very bootleg in itself. This is also kind of an ugly film in spots. The animation for the 2D characters is done with a cel-shaded CGI a la Fortnite's 2D characters, and it seems really way off. Overall, it moves along super rapidly for being less than 90 minutes, and little harm is done either way. Fans of the original show, like myself, will see very little aside from pictures of toys and other things. And I do want to note that I didn't see a copy of Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers 2 for the NES in the pile of merchandise in Dale's garage. My guess is that they didn't have the money for it in the budget, which says a lot about this movie. This movie also has like a lot of like tell, don't show, and a lot of talking in it. It never actually seems to shut up. I mean, it wants to be in the same world as Who Framed Roger Rabbit, but it feels like a bootleg version of that movie where Who Framed Roger Rabbit took its film noir roots seriously with style and framing that matched up with movies like The Big Sleep or The Maltese Falcon. This film seems like it's taking its cues from the idea of detective films, but with no competent style or framing. It just comes across as busy. You'll find that the best way to see this is once and just kind of pause every now and again and say, hey, I see some stuff in the background. Look at those. Now I've seen it. I guess there'll be like mini film theory or like game explain videos showing like, hey, look at these cameos. Look at this cameo. This is intended so you can be like, did you know there was a My Little Pony cameo in the Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers movie? It's at this point in the movie. Yeah, it's stupid. In fact, like, I felt it was an okay movie. I didn't really care much about the plot or the characters. I liked the TV show. I just didn't really think the movie is, well, it's an okay film. But is it worth your time? Here on these reviews, we refer to something that's worth your time as game-worthy. And is this game-worthy? Morning, Maya.